You say that the adoption and use of digital technologies are key to transforming our productive sectors and business models. Would you favor adoption over developing technology in Latin America?
Well, yes, I said that in a recent publication of the Inter-American Development Bank, alerting. It's called the imperative of digital transformation, alerting on the impact of digital technology. I believe that one of the things of digital technology is that it's making that distinction probably not as clear or as strong as it used to be. I mean, the way innovation is changing, innovation itself is changing due to the digital revolution. Inventing something new and taking it to the market, it goes now through different channels, or is starting to go through different channels. So I think that Latin America can do well by absorbing technology that is produced all around the world, and actually digital technology is improving the ability to capture and to use that technology, but at the same time it's making it probably easier, at least in some fields, to innovate, to invent new things, and to develop original thinking and original products and services out of Latin America for the world. So I don't see that as a black and white situation. I think that the rules of the game of innovation are changing, and probably part of that is that this classical distinction between adoption or original invention is not as clear as it was.
What are the essentials every business leader should know about digital transformation?
Well, a business leader today has to be at the forefront of this transformation. The digital transformation of economic sectors and businesses is not and organizations in general, not something that you delegate to your expert on digital technology. Maybe they don't know how to program, how to code, or they don't know the inner working of artificial intelligence or robots or things like that. But they have to know what it means, what it implies, because they have to be on the lookout and leading the organization, leading the firm in terms of how is this going to hit me, and what do I have to do to stay one step ahead of the way the world is going, because disruption is around every corner for any business in any sector. So it's very important to know not the details of the technology. For the leader of the industry or the company, he needs to know how important it is, have a sense of urgency, and know that this is disruptive. It's going to hit him, even if he cannot see at this point exactly where the hit is coming from.
How can businesses in Latin America catch up with the fast pace of change in digital industries? How should they plan for the long term?
Well, I think that this is a challenge around the world. I mean, even in advanced economies, what we normally call advanced economies, there is a lot of stress in terms of how companies can really update themselves fast enough. Because one of the things about the digital revolution is not only that the technology is changing radically, but that it's changing very fast. So there is relatively less time to adapt than what it used to be the case. In Latin America, I think that the best thing that can be done is to, as I said, to develop this sense of urgency, and not to think that this is the problem of big companies or companies of developed countries or things like that. No, it's your problem. And at the same time, if I have to focus on one thing, I will focus on developing the talent that you need to face this challenge, because talent is the key to solve this puzzle for everybody, and it's very, very scarce. So you have to be seriously concerned about where to get the talent that you need to face the digital transformation.
What will be the impact of digital transformation on labor markets in Latin America?
Well, that's I hope I knew. This is an emerging issue. So things are just becoming apparent now, and there is, we are at the Inter-American Development Bank. We are starting a region-wide process of research to get the facts about this clear, and also a process of discussion with governments, with the private sector. As a matter of fact, about these questions that you have been asking, we have an international forum in Bogota on November 13 that is called Talent 4.0. It's precisely about discussing all these issues that are not that clear. All we can say is that there will be a huge impact in the skills needed, in that everybody will need skills, and most workers will need skills, new skills, so there will be a lot of reskilling and upskilling. And we know that the market for training, for the provision of those skills, for educating people in those new skills, is also going to be disrupted. It's already being disrupted. So since the speed of change is so fast, as I was saying, probably the educational institutions, training schools, universities, will start having difficulties adapting fast enough. So part of the challenge is how the response to this from the side of training is going to happen, and I think it's going to happen in a way that will radically change the landscape of education in Latin America and in the world.